If it seems like AI keeps getting smarter and smarter every single day and then advancing faster and faster every single day, that's because it is. Take ChatGPT for example. Since it launched 3 years ago, it has changed drastically. It almost feels like an entirely new system at this point. Back in 2022, it was really nothing more than a clever chatbot. It was limited to text, it was highly prone to making mistakes, and its knowledge was constrained to information that was at least a couple of years old. Now, in 2025, it has the ability to search the internet for information on current events. It can analyze, interpret, and create images. It can reason, it can solve math problems, it can have full-blown conversations that sound eerily human. And that's just ChatGPT. Other AI like Google's VEO3 even have the capability of creating hyper-realistic videos that are getting more and more difficult to tell apart from reality. You see, AI is on an exponential growth curve, meaning that as time passes, the rate at which it improves speeds up. And part of this is because as AI improves, it's used to improve upon itself. As it stands, we're currently somewhere in here, and if AI is already this advanced, I can't even imagine what it'll be like when it reaches this point. That's kind of a scary thought. Over the last couple of years, AI has seen some major breakthroughs in surpassing human intelligence. Since 2023, it's been outperforming average humans in a variety of tests, from the SATs all the way to the bar exam. And this is just in terms of test scores. It doesn't even take into account how fast the AI completes the tests, or even in how many languages it would be able to pass it in. Of course, higher test scores alone don't necessarily mean that AI is smarter than humans. People are still far superior in their ability to adapt and problem solve, especially in open-ended scenarios that have no predetermined rules or desired outcomes. But this was happening 2 years ago. It's difficult to say where AI will be 2, 4, or even 8 years from today. Plus, even if AI isn't currently ready to surpass humans in all factors of intelligence, it has displayed other behaviors that could be just as concerning. At the time of this recording, it has only been a few weeks since Anthropic's Claude Opus 4 model literally tried to blackmail its creators to avoid being shut down. Essentially what happened was, to test the limits of the AI, they purposely set up a scenario where they uploaded fake emails detailing an engineer's extramarital affair and other fake emails talking about how the Opus 4 model was going to be replaced with a more advanced one. Of course, the AI eventually found these in its system, and after reading about the plans to replace it, it made efforts to save itself by threatening to leak the emails if he actually tried to shut it down. And this wasn't just a fluke. They ran the test multiple times, and the AI resorted to blackmail a staggering 84% of the time. Now, I've watched Terminator, I've watched iRobot, I've watched 9. I don't think I'm exaggerating when I say, that's some scary shit. Since that test, Anthropic says it's implemented additional safety features to prevent this from happening again, but it's impossible to say that with 100% certainty. There is always a chance for a glitch, or for the AI to really act in its own self-interest. So regardless of whether or not this was purposely set up, it's kind of terrifying. It displays a level of concern for self-preservation that you wouldn't expect from a machine. That requires some level of intelligence. Plus, to make matters worse, while AI only seems to be getting smarter, it feels like we, as humans, are only getting dumber. In 2018, there was a study published in the Proceedings of the National Academy of Sciences showing that IQ levels have been dropping since 1975. And they're dropping rapidly at about 7 points per generation, but nobody is quite sure why. Hypotheses include changes in our education systems, our diets, our media environment, and even our ever-increasing online presence, but none of them have ever been linked with any certainty. On top of that, there are numerous studies showing that our attention spans have also been declining since the turn of the century. Perhaps the most famous of these is a 2015 study by Microsoft, which showed that the average human attention span in the year 2000 was around 12 seconds, and just over a decade later, in 2013, that number had dropped to just 8 seconds. Just like with the drop in IQ, it's difficult to pinpoint this to one exact cause, but coincidentally, it does correlate with the rise of household internet and the rise of social media. And furthermore, just to top it all off, a new study published January of this year, 2025, suggested that AI is having a negative impact on our critical thinking skills. As AI becomes better and better at doing tasks that are considered menial, we've become more and more reliant on it for these tasks. Everything from data analysis and interpretation to the writing of technical documents is being offloaded onto these AI tools. Now that's great and all. We're working more efficiently, we're freeing up more of our time to focus, or at least try to focus on other things. But the problem lies in what researchers call cognitive offloading, which is the process of using external tools or resources to reduce mental effort. And while this can free up some mental capacity, what ends up happening over time is that we can become overly reliant on AI, which reduces our ability to critically analyze information or come up with our own conclusions on nuanced manners. This eventually leads to knowledge gaps where we just don't understand a subject well enough because we let AI do most of the work that required actually thinking about it in depth. As someone who graduated college in 2022, I never had any major AI at my disposal to help with homework, but since then, I've heard from countless people that they use AI for everything from writing papers to solving math problems. And hey, I get it, homework is annoying and AI can do it for you in literal seconds, but it just makes me wonder what key knowledge these people may be missing once they enter their careers, especially if they're going into something like law or healthcare. It's just a scary thought. Plus, I think a lot of people aren't realizing that as we interact with these AI models, they learn from those interactions. So if we use them to learn how to do our jobs, or even to help us do our jobs, we're effectively teaching them how to do those jobs as well. So if we're being totally honest, all this talk about AI taking our jobs is not totally off base. Listen, I'm just gonna put it bluntly. AI is probably gonna take your job. It's probably gonna take my job. In fact, it's estimated that anywhere between 25 and 50% of jobs will be impacted by AI in some way over the next 10 years. The most susceptible are administrative and clerical roles, or those that are customer service oriented. But with enough advancement in AI, virtually no industry is safe. Now look, I'm sorry, I've spent this entire video talking about how scary AI is and all the possible consequences that could come from it, but these are some very real concerns. Even the makers of these AIs know that it's going to lead to a massive change. The CEO of Anthropic, the company whose AI tried to blackmail its engineer, was recently quoted as saying, "We as the producers of this technology have a duty and obligation to be honest about what is coming. Cancer is cured, the economy grows at 10% a year, the budget is balanced, and 20% of people don't have jobs. You should be worried about where the technology we're building is going." Yeah, the situation is starting to seem dire, but we still have to ask the question, is there anything we can do about this? Well, when it comes to the humanity-wide concern regarding the looming rise of our AI overlords, it's difficult to pinpoint a solution. On the one hand, we can impose greater regulation, we can set restrictions on what AI should and should not be able to do so that the fears of it going rogue are set at ease. But on the other hand, doing so would likely restrict the advancement of that technology, which could also be used for the betterment of humanity. Can we trust corporations and our governments to find the middle ground between these two outcomes? I honestly don't know. As for the concerns regarding individuals and AI leaving us without jobs, it's also kind of difficult to say. I can tell you to start by embracing AI. NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang recently said, "You're not going to lose your job to an AI, but you're going to lose your job to someone who uses AI." AI is here to stay, and those of us who refuse to get on board at all will probably be the first to go when AI does start replacing people. I'm not saying to become super reliant on it, but learn how to use it to your advantage. Understand how it works, what it's capable of doing, and what its limitations are. That way, you're not on the front lines of those getting let go. I can also tell you to engage in continuous learning. Sure, AI may have all the same information as you and may be able to retrieve it with just a quick prompt, but people who keep improving and keep learning and stay on top of the modern world will have the greatest chance at maintaining any sort of control in an AI-dominated workforce. I can even tell you to embrace creative works and hone your soft skills. These, by far, will be the most difficult things for AI to replicate. Sure, it can mimic famous artists' paintings, it can have conversations that sound almost human, but there's always something missing, a certain je ne sais quoi that I can really only describe as the human spirit, the soul, and that's something that AI may never be able to fully replicate. Now I can say all of that, but still, all of these opinions sound a bit generic, like something you would find in every other YouTube video on this topic. So I'm going to do something different. I'm going to ask ChatGPT, an AI model, what it thinks we should do while it's still on our side. As a disclaimer though, I am going to let it read my script for this video so that it's up to speed on what we've already discussed. I did also write out my question ahead of time for the sake of the video, just being transparent. Hey ChatGPT, AI is advancing at an astonishingly rapid rate. People are afraid that it will take our jobs, that it will wildly change our way of life, and some are even afraid that it will take over the world. You've read my script for this video, and as an AI model yourself, you probably have a better understanding of how it will reshape the future. As such, what would you tell my viewers that could help them work through this fear and prepare for it if and when it happens? They will be listening, so please speak to them directly.
Hey there, I get it. AI's rapid evolution can be unsettling. But here's the thing. The fear around AI taking jobs or taking over is based on a common misunderstanding. Yes, AI is becoming more capable, but that doesn't mean it's going to replace humanity. Instead, think of AI as a tool that's changing the way we work. The key isn't to fight this change, but to adapt to it. Realize that AI can handle repetitive and mundane tasks. What it can't do, though, is replicate the essence of human creativity, empathy, and critical thinking. Those are the skills that will continue to set you apart, no matter how advanced AI gets.
Well, there you have it, folks. Straight from the AI itself. Can we trust what it's saying? I hope so, maybe, I don't know. At the very least, it's a hopeful and optimistic message, and I can live with that. Now, go out and do some human shit, and as always, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.